Hello, everyone. In today's weekly documentation video, I wanted to talk about all of the inner work I did literally in the last 7 days. For those of you who watched my last video, I said that I was going to launch my new business on my Instagram and start a 75-day content challenge last Monday. And I ended up pushing it back one more week, and I was so hesitant in doing this. But I honestly felt like God was telling me, I need you to wait 7 more days. I'm going to talk about why I did that in this video, and a lot of it had to do with my confidence, healing my past, and tapping into my dark feminine energy. And these were things that were so important. And now that I have done all of the work, I wanted to come on here and share all of my thoughts because it was an amazing week. It was just like revelation after revelation. And honestly, I was just so in awe of what God has done in my life because I knew something was still off. And I decided to be obedient, and it paid off tremendously. So let's go ahead and dive in. So, what triggered all of this? So, like I said, I was going to launch on Monday, and before that, I had took already a 1 week rest, and I talk about that in the last video. And I felt like I needed to take a break because I knew the next 75 days were going to be, I'm going to have to step up. I'm going to have to really show up and, just come on to the platform with some sort of authority. If I'm going to be promoting my signature offer, my one-on-one coaching to help travel advisors create an online presence, I really had to be confident in myself, and that was something that I was lacking. I felt like when making videos online, I always felt kind of blocked, like I didn't feel like I said exactly what I wanted to say, or I was very hesitant, or, I couldn't really, or I had to like even, for example, make these videos like 100 times. Like I felt like I would make them over and over again. 100 is an exaggeration, obviously, but I felt like I would create my videos at least 3 to 4 times, which was a lot for me because I just wanted to sit down and talk. And I couldn't because I felt like everything had to be so scripted. Like, I know what I'm saying, but why do I have to stop and like look at my notes constantly? Like, yes, we forget things here and there, and it's nice to have an outline. But if I truly just want to sit down like I'm having a conversation with a friend. And that's what I feel like this video is. Even the video, the last one I posted about rest, I redid that video like 4 times. And I'm like, why can I not just speak? Like, why can I not just speak from my heart? Why am I thinking so much? Why am I being so self conscious? Like, why? And I decided, I'm like, okay, I felt God telling me as well, like, I need you to stop. And for 7 days, I needed to focus on me, and I need you to focus on yourself. I need you to heal this. I need you to figure this out because something is blocking you. And that Sunday, I went to church the day before I was supposed to launch. And I ran into an old friend, and we rekindled. And she was like, we should hang out. Like, I'm so happy to see you. And she said, I moved back to X, Y, and Z neighborhood. And I was like, no way. I literally live there. We're literally neighbors. And we both got so excited. And 2 days later, we went to the beach and we had an amazing conversation. And then the next day, we went on a morning walk together and we kept the conversation going. And honestly, she was like a godsend. If you're watching this, I appreciate our friendship so much already. So she might be watching this. I don't know if she would or not, but if you are, hey. But the conversations we had just opened up my eyes into what I was lacking. And a lot of that had to do with my dark feminine energy. We were talking about feminine energy. I forgot like how that came up, but I told her like I am very dominant in my light feminine energy. And I rarely ever tap into my dark feminine energy. And that is something that I had to work on this week because I felt like that was the missing piece I needed in order to gain back my confidence, in order to stop doubting myself, and in order to move forward. And I also want to thank Alexis and her YouTube channel. On YouTube, her name is Alexis, and she is a feminine energy coach. And I love watching her videos. When it comes to inner work and feminine energy, there's so much to it that I didn't know. Like I knew it was important, but I didn't like know how important it was until this week. And so I was watching some of Alexa's videos because I knew like, okay, maybe that's the part that's missing. Because even speaking to my friend and even some of my coworkers, like I saw that they had a confidence within themselves that I was lacking or not. And I wasn't like envious or jealous of it, but I was admiring their confidence and admiring like, oh wow, like they know who they are and they're going places. Like they have, they walk straight, their posture's right, and they're confident. And so I thought to myself, like, why am I not confident? Why am I doubting myself? And why do I have imposter syndrome when I do know what I'm doing? Why is it that I don't feel like I can launch my business yet? And so as me and my friend are talking, we're kind of like unpacking all of these things. And the second thing I come to realize is that subconsciously, in the back of my head, I'm still thinking about or still had attached myself to some memories that were not good for me. Memories that truly were stopping me from moving forward. Memories that made me embarrassed when I was a kid in school specifically, times that teachers have said like you're completely wrong in front of the class and weren't very nice about it. All the times that like I like did poorly on a presentation, or all the times that I would get the courage to answer a question and then it would backlash. The reason why I felt like this was the biggest issue that I had to work on, because obviously I knew that this was some sort of, like, I don't know if I even want to call it like a trauma, but I mean, it kind of is because it affected me so much, but I didn't know how much it affected me until this week, how much it was limiting myself from moving forward because I couldn't believe in myself because of all the times I was embarrassed in school or all the times I did poorly. And some teachers would say, like, you are smart, but then I wouldn't feel smart because when I was around the other kids, I wasn't going at their pace, or I heard people say like I was a slow reader and stuff like that. So I'm like, how can I possibly be smart and dumb at the same time? But I did mention a few videos ago, I was on this journey to figuring out a whole bunch of stuff. And on this journey, I was officially diagnosed with ADHD, and then everything made sense. And now I have an explanation to why I couldn't answer questions, or why I couldn't, comprehend my reading, or why I had tics when I was younger. And it was because I had ADHD and no one caught it. And I had to forgive myself and my parents and my teachers and my friends. I had to forgive everyone for all of that because nobody knew. Nobody knew. Nobody knew. And I didn't make the connection to why I've always had kind of like a lack of confidence and self doubt when it came to like just speaking up and creating content. But until this week, I realized how important it is that when you are creating content, that you really speak from your heart and that you're authentic to yourself. And if you can't do that, then you can't attract the people that you want to attract. You can't really speak what you want to say. Like you'll say stuff, but you'll be hesitant about it. And the best way to succeed at personal branding and content creation is by being true to yourself and being confident. And I lacked that. And so I had to take another week after my week of rest to figure out why that was. And I am just so happy because I know God wanted me to wait. And so the next Sunday, which was yesterday, I went to church, and of course the sermon felt like it was made just for me. It was a really good sermon, and it was about not letting doubt take you out. And my pastor actually just published this book, Don't Let Doubt Take You Out. I don't even think this book is out yet, but I'll link it down below if I do find it. I think we're like the first people to like get it. So I'm not sure if it's on Amazon, but I'll come back and post it under the description when it is. And I was just in awe because I was like, wow, God, you're really speaking to me. Like what you're doing in this sermon, what you've done this week with me rekindling with the friend, and all the other things that I was doing. I was just like, wow, I really needed this. I really needed this. And I was so confused as to why. But now that it's been 7 days later, I totally understand why I had to wait another week before launching. And I'm just so excited to launch because I'm just ready to just step out, show out. And I know this is going to be a constant inner work battle and journey. Like every time there's a new level, there's going to be a new devil, right? There's going to be something new. And I understand that, but I know how I can manage through it. But yeah, I wanted to go ahead and share with you 4 practical ways and things that I did this last week in order to help me tap into my dark feminine energy and also just build up my confidence, my self worth. The first one, and I got this from this actually, I was doing it myself and I had no idea, but then I was watching Alexa's video and she mentioned this tip. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm already doing that. So it was amazing. But it is wearing the opposite color. And usually in my light feminine energy, I'm usually wearing pastels. I'm usually wearing bright colors. Like it's just very colorful. My wardrobe is super colorful. And so I went shopping and I bought some dark clothes, some black clothes. And even my friend, I posted like 1 or 2 videos with black on, and she texted me and was like, hey girl, are you tapping into your dark femme? I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you noticed. I'm like, that's so funny. I didn't really tell anyone about it. I did post a short about it recently, but I was like, yeah, like I want to dress a little bit more dark femme because that's something that I'm lacking. And it has helped already so much because obviously what you wear, it just changes the way that you walk, changes the way that you talk. And when I wear black, I feel sexy, I feel more confident, and I feel just a little bit more mysterious, you know what I mean? Instead of my, happy, bubbly, colorful self. And so I toned it down and, you know, I actually have a ton of dark clothes because I'm actually going to California tomorrow, and I'm bringing a lot of black clothes with me. And then side note, I'm actually so excited for California because I'm going on a girls trip with my girls, and I love hanging out with them because they're always so inspiring. We always talk about business and content and life, and they're like just true friendships that I admire so much. I'll never take it for granted. And what better way to launch my business than by having fun and being in California with my girls? I know while I'm with them, I'm going to be detached, which is the best way to run a business. And I have heard so many stories of people saying, like, I make more money when I'm on the beach, having fun, chilling. I make more money and make more sales when I'm having fun. Brings me to my second point, which is to have fun. Chase the feeling of feeling good. When I met up with my friend, that was like the beginning of it because we went to the beach and we had a conversation. I haven't been to the beach and I couldn't remember the last time when. We went to the beach, we had an amazing conversation, and I was just feeling so good. The next day, I go to Miami and I go to a Galentine's YouTube event, and I have a blast because I'm around all this feminine energy, all these content creators. We're having free food, and it's just such a vibe. And then my friend, she surprises me and says, "Oh, I got us tickets to another event if you're down to go." And I was like, "Yeah." So spontaneously, we go to another event right after. It's another like networking event in Miami, and it was at this like very nice upscale golf, like miniature golf place. And I was like, that was so fun. On my way back, I hit up a friend randomly because I'm like passing by their house, and I was like, what are you doing? And it was like super late at night. And long story short, we ended up going to the beach. I was like, this is so fun. And when I go to the beach, I start running through the sand. The moon is shining. Nobody's on the beach. I'm like running around because usually when you go to the beach here in Florida, like the ocean is like pretty much right there. But for some reason, I've never really seen it like this, but the sand just kept going. Like I had to run for a good 1 to 2 minutes. And I just felt so free. I was running around like if I was in a movie romanticizing life, and it just felt so good. And I kept having those moments, and I kept having amazing conversations and just kept seeking that, and I just kept finding more. And that led me to having another conversation with a coworker of mine. And I was basically like inspiring him and just giving him ideas of how he could build his dream and his vision through content and personal branding. And he told me, like, your eyes are, like, you look lit up, like you look so happy and passionate about that. And I love that for you. Like, he's like, is this some sort of like career? I was like, that's so funny that you say that, because like I'm literally working on my coaching business and helping child advisors build an online presence. And that made me feel so good, because I also helped another friend with ideas for their vision and their personal branding. And I've just gotten compliments on that this week, and that gave me the confidence to really believe in myself and say, no, I can be a coach. I can help people. Like, I have experience and I have what it takes to help other people and inspire them. People have said I've been, I was inspiring, and like I just felt in that moment like this is for me. Like, I feel really happy and I feel very aligned and I feel really good. And I think that's the important part, is feeling good. Like, how does it feel? And when I was basically coaching my coworker about it and coaching him and giving him ideas, like, I was just so happy. I just felt like this is what I'm here for. Like, I love everything about this. I love this conversation. And just seeing his excitement as well made me excited. And it was just like all this excitement, all this passion in this conversation. And just like dreaming big, and like I just I just love it. And so I feel like chasing that feeling and never ever letting it go. Like, when you feel like you're kind of like in your masculine era, we're kind of like working too much and like everything's a little too structured, and like, yes, we need that, but we also need to be able to just be free and flow and feel good. And that is so so important. And that's the second thing that I was doing this week to help me work through this. The third thing I did was ask myself hard questions, like why, or who told you this, or why do you feel like this, or why am I thinking like this? Why do I feel like I'm not enough? Why do I feel like I'm not capable? Who told me that, X, Y, and Z? And I had to journal about it. I usually don't journal, but I knew this is something I had to work through. I'm going to write these questions down and get to the bottom of this. And the journaling really did help this week. The next thing is thinking back to my past and saying out loud every single memory I had that I felt like was limiting myself from moving forward. And I just had to forgive everyone and myself. And that was so helpful, because I can finally move on and move forward. Nobody is thinking about these things except for me, subconsciously, because I don't think about them like every day or anything. But they were the reason why I couldn't have my confidence, and why I always doubted myself, and why I felt like, hesitant about posting content, or hesitant about what I was saying, or felt like I couldn't really use my voice. Like, someone made me ashamed of using my voice, because anytime I did that, it just backfired. Even when I was right, like, I felt like I couldn't speak up, you know? Um, but that was one of the things that I did. And the last one is, this is actually my favorite. I had so much fun doing this, and it's keeping a proof journal or an evidence journal. And basically, in my journal, anytime someone gave me a compliment or said something that really stood out to me, I would immediately just write it down. And just like the Bible says, like, kind words, or words of encouragement are like honey. I think the verse goes something like that, but it is so true. Like, the impact that these words have were so important. And I felt like I had to write them down and even go back, further back, to remember things that people said, mentors or bosses or friends or my parents, that said things that were so powerful and made an impact on me. They have no idea, but I wrote them down, and I wanted to just like meditate on all the good things that were said about me, instead of the like 4 to 5 things that were negative in those experiences from my childhood. Because, the negative, like, we'll remember that forever. But the little positive moments, like, why am I not thinking about those more? And there's like like 1,000x more positive things than those like 5 bad experiences. So I thought to myself, like, why subconsciously am I still thinking about those bad things when I can be reprogramming my mind to think about all the good things that people said. And just recently, I got some compliments I wanted to share with you guys because I love these. These made me feel so happy. So I was serving at the restaurant job one weekend, and a customer said, "You should be in sales." And I was like, "Thank you so much." I was like, "Thank you so much." I was like, "That's going in the proof journal." And it gave me proof that I am good at sales and I am good at talking to people and I'm good at business. And that just confirmed that I have the communication skills or I have the ability to be great at sales. And so that gave me just a little oomph that I needed. I had another customer actually another day. He said this actually amongst like his group while I was walking away from the table. And this was an older gentleman. And he was like, "Wow, she's so professional. Like, she's a professional." And I was like, "Oh," and I know he didn't mean it in like, she's so good at serving. Because before I left, we were talking about like, he said, "Did you have any other job besides this?" And I told him about my experience. I worked in basically almost every industry. I worked at a dealership, I worked at a store, I worked at a marketing job. I worked like so many different things I've worked. And when I walked away, that's when he said, "She's a professional." And I was like, "Thank you. Proof journal." Another thing, I remember a former boss of mine said, he saw me like doing something on a computer and he saw that I like was paying so close attention to like one little detail about one little thing. And he looked over to me and was like, "Wow, that's how I know you're going to be successful." And I was like, that just changed my life, literally. I have another boss who said, just casually, he was just like, "You're brilliant beyond your years." And I was like, "Thank you so much. I appreciate that." And the list just goes on and on. I have things about my looks, I have things about my style, just so many different things, so many different aspects of my life. And I write them all down because whenever I'm struggling with, for example, how I look or my style, I look back to the comments people made where they complimented me and it made an impact. Just I just love having a proof journal because it really just changes my mind from thinking about the negative to the positive. Basically, those were the 5 things I did. I think I said 4, but there were 5. The 5 things I did to help build my confidence and tap into my dark feminine energy. And I hope that this helps someone. Please let me know down in the comments if you found this video helpful. And also subscribe so we can encourage each other in building the life and business of our dreams. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.